Alright guys, so I'm about to break down the car roller setup that I use. The chase car that I use is my 1998 Jetta GLX, which has the 2.8 liter VR6 in it, in manual transmission. Nice, peppy enough. It is a little bit on the older side, so sometimes I do like to just rent a car to use just so that I can keep the abuse down on the Jetta, because it's older than I am. With the camera that I use the Osmo Pocket 3, which is what I'm filming on right now. I use that with the Neewer lenses, which I normally use the ND 16 or the ND 64, depending on how bright it is outside. And then I use the Osmo Pocket 3 strapped to the blade arm by MOVMAX. I've been using this for the past year now, and it's just fantastic. I also use the MOVMAX vibration dampener, which really helps out for whenever I'm doing those highway shoots. Really eliminates any kind of vibration, mainly from the wind. This is already does very well at reducing the vibration just from the roads, but the wind sometimes grabs my pocket and makes it just really shaky. So this MOVMAX vibration dampener was really a lifesaver. So with the vibration dampener, I have it mounted sideways, just because if I have it mounted straight, I don't have the full range of motion that the gimbal gives me. It's just a lot easier for it to follow the car if I have it mounted sideways, just based on where the end points are with the gimbal. So I also do mount the vibration dampener upside down so that I can get my Osmo to be upside down while I'm filming, which just gives me a lower angle of the car. This used to be the suction cup that I used for the past year, but this has fallen off of my car 3 times. The first time, shitty paint, I get it. Second time was on a really flimsy piece of plastic on a bumper of a Chevy Sonic, which also I don't expect it to hold onto that permanently. And then the third time was also strapped to a plastic piece on the back of my car. Now, thankfully, every time it fell off, it was either sitting stationary or going very slow. So it wasn't the end of the world that it fell off. I lost a couple ND filters. It scratched up the camera and stuff like that, but thankfully the ND filters did protect the lens from getting damaged. So the lens is still perfectly fine on my Osmo Pocket 3. I just have all the damage is cosmetic. So I recently upgraded to the electronic suction cup, because this constantly monitors the suction, and whenever it does get low, it turns the pump back on and brings that suction back. So I have a lot more trust and faith that this is not going to fall off than this suction cup. But I do have these two tethered together so that just in case this one does fail, this one's still holding it on. I always like to have a safety net, just because I really don't want to deal with the drama of this failing, falling off, and hitting somebody else's car. That is just really a situation I'm not trying to deal with. So I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that if the suction cup does fail, which I don't expect it to with the new setup I have, but if it does fail, it's going to be hopefully saved by this and just be hanging off the back of my car, scratching my car, and not getting ran over by some random civilian. So that is I'm always trying to be extra safe. So now I do also have my phone suction cups to my car so that I can monitor what's on the Osmo. I can also use that to drag boxes around the cars to actively track the cars as I'm filming them, just so that I'm not having to sit there while I'm driving controlling the camera. I also just ordered on Amazon a mount for my iPad so that I can actually use my phone for GPS and use the iPad for monitoring my screen, starting and stopping recording, everything like that. Also, I just got 2 of the DJI Mic 2s. I've had the one for the past year and I love it. I wanted to get a second one so that I could get engine bay noise and exhaust noise if I need to. Also, if I do want to end up doing interviews, I can use this for me, second mic for them, just so that we're not trying to pass the mic back and forth, stuff like that. I'm just trying to be as professional as possible, be as fluid and just easy as possible, so that there's not any just complications. So this setup might look simple, but it does deliver cinematic results, delivers the best sort of results that I can without having to hire a driver or without having to hire a second shooter. So as a solo videographer for my solo shoots, this works fantastic. I also still use the same setup for whenever I do collaborations with my buddy JP, but also sometimes he wants to get that really nice footage with the ZX3, so I still have him hanging out of the back sometimes for certain shoots, like the CTS-V I just did. But if you want to see more behind the scenes, more rollers, and more insane car content, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment on the setup you're running, and trust me, we're just getting started.